So hey, welcome back to the channel. Sorry I'm doing the video in the truck today. There is just no getting outside in Oklahoma this type of year. It's the 1st of August and it's supposed to be like 100, heat index of 110 today. So getting outside in this heat and doing any kind of videos, that's not gonna happen. So I'm in my truck, sorry. Not much I can do about it, but we're gonna push forward anyway. If you followed my channel for any amount of time, you know that a few months ago, I was doing a calendar shoot for the Spirit Squad here in my hometown of Stillwater. And I made a few videos about that. And overall, it was so much fun. The experience was just a great time. And I think the pictures turned out great. Then we got the calendars in, and I looked at them briefly for a second. You know, when we first got the calendars in, I was like, oh, those look okay, you know. But then today I got to looking a little bit closer, and I noticed that when the photos are printed, they're much darker than what I turned in as my final product. If you look at this photo right here, I don't know if you can see it. I hope I can get it without any kind of glare. This photo right here was one of the more difficult ones that I took. They were sitting way up on this staircase. I had to extend my light stands and my C-stands all the way to the maximum full position. So they were, 10 feet in the air. And I was able to light these girls down here fairly well. If you can see there, they're lit up pretty good. But the girls on the very top, I couldn't get lit up that good because they were sitting so far above the ground. And I went in and I noticed that in editing, and I went in and I lightened it up. But when I started looking at this calendar a lot closer, you can see the girls at the top. If you can see that, they are so dark. The photo is so dark that you can barely make out who they are. And I got to looking at this and I was like, oh, well, I guess that's what I turned in, you know? But then as I was looking at it closer and closer, I was like, there's no way I turned in this photo being this dark. There's no way. So today I pulled up the final photo that I turned in, and it is much lighter, much lighter. Here is that photo. I'll show it right now. And you can see the difference is night and day, obviously. I mean, the photo that I turned in was much lighter. You can clearly make out everybody's face. And it's really disappointing. And then, because my name is on this calendar. My name is right there on this calendar. Everybody who sees this photo looks down below and sees my name. And they're like, why would somebody turn in a photo that dark? Well, I didn't turn in a photo that dark. It's just how it came out after the print. So then I started looking at each one of these photos and comparing it to the one I turned in, and every one of them is darker. Every one of them. And the only one that looks halfway decent, as far as I'm concerned, is this baseball photo. As far as the exposure goes, is this baseball photo. And what happened with this one is the original baseball photo is way brighter than I would normally ever turn in. And I just brightened it up for whatever reason. And then it turned out just about right for the calendar. But it's way brighter than this, what I originally turned in, which is just crazy and a little bit disappointing. Again, because on every photo, my name is underneath it. Most of them turned out decent. Even being darker than what I turned in, most of them turned out okay. But man, it was disappointing when I started looking at this closer and closer. I was like, wow, why are all these pictures so much darker? Well, something happened in the printing process or something that made each photo much darker than what I originally turned in. And I don't know if there's a couple of things that could have happened. Either when they went to the printer, the actual printing process darkened the photos a little bit, Or as I was editing, I would submit the photos to the coaches, and I was using a Google Drive, which is the easiest way to share photos, I think. And so we were using that, and I was communicating with them back and forth using that drive. And I don't know if like the people that were producing the calendar got a hold of the link before I was ready for them to get a hold of the link, or they used a photo that was not quite done and then I switched it later. They got the link early, basically is what I'm saying, and they used a photo that wasn't ready yet or wasn't finalized by me. Overall, I'm happy with the photos. I'm happy with the calendar. It was a fun experience, but a little bit embarrassing that they turned out so dark. The good thing is I talked to the coaches and I was like, hey, well, this what'd you think of the end product? She loved it. She thought it was great. So as long as the customer's happy, I guess everything's fine. Nobody will ever be as critical of my work than me. So when I look at the photos, I'm like, wow, what in the world happened, you know? It's a little disappointing that they turned out the way they did. But she was happy with them. The coaches were happy with them. I think all the girls were somewhat happy with them. And I guess that's all that really matters. But next year, if I do this again, I'm definitely going to make sure that I'm included in the final proofing of the calendar. Like, I want to go over there to where they print the calendar and they do the final proofing. I'm going to go over there and I want to make sure that all the photos look the way they're supposed to look before they go to print. Because I think if you're going to put your name on something and put it out there for the public, you want it to look the way you want it's supposed to look, not changed by accident or by printing or whatever. So let me know in the comments kind of what you think about this whole situation and maybe what you think happened, or if anything like this has ever happened to you. Have you ever published anything and it come out completely different than what you submitted? I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure you drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.